Mic check. All right. Episode number 45. I am here with a motivational speaker. He's a fitness entrepreneur, co-founder of Nihilist Fit, and a CEO of SMB Performance. My good friend Milton Alvarez. How you doing, brother?
Well, man, I'm happy to be on your show. Your first one, video live, huh?
Yes, it's my first one. It's a different kind of pressure, okay?
Definitely.
And I feel it. I feel it. You know, it's different. I've been doing this for 2 years. Audio, fine. I can do it. Piece of cake. Video, I have to watch what I'm doing with my body now. It's kind of
you got to suck it in a little bit, man. You got to stand up straight.
Especially looking at you, man. So you're so fit. Where did your love for fitness begin?
I want to say when I saw the power of our physiology and the impact that movement has on the human body.
Okay.
For many years, people tend to go through life without any form of movement, any type of fitness in their lives. And when you see the power of movement coinciding with the benefactor of body recomposition. And what do I mean by that? When you move your body and you see the physical results, there's a momentum that builds up within a human mind. And when you have that momentum building up, there's so many euphoric moments that you experience as a person. And when you have those moments, a lot of things in life start aligning themselves to that current position that you're in mentally and emotionally.
Okay.
And for a lot of my clients, when they started seeing physical results, their emotional life started changing, their financial life started changing, their mental health started changing. There was actually a 12-week study done a couple years ago where they took a group of people and they took them through a VO2 max exercise routine for 12 weeks. And VO2 is just it's just a test where it shows how much oxygen you have at max during exercise.
Okay.
And based on the tests that they ran on people, they saw that maximizing your VO2 had a lot of beneficial factors when it came down to reducing the effects of anxiety and reducing the effects of depression itself.
Okay.
So when you see the power of fitness, how it can actually impact somebody on a greater scale, it gets you curious to know and want to proceed forward with that type of industry to see how you can be part of that moment for many people's lives, especially walking towards something better, better mental health, better physical health, emotional health.
Okay. So when you started with fitness, you started as a coach right off the bat, or like did you go in there with a friend as a get in free? How was your first experience with it when you lifted the weights?
When I actually got involved into fitness, it wasn't right in high school.
Okay.
I was involved in sports, football, wrestling, boxing. And that's when I first started lifting weights. At the time, it wasn't with the intention of helping people. It was with the intention of just getting big, getting strong,
and hurting people.
And hurting people on the field, right?
The total opposite.
Yeah. So, and obviously, when you're in high school, you're full of hormones, and just to impress the girls during that time.
Yeah.
It's not until after I graduated high school and I started seeing the benefit out of it. Again. Yes, I started working out in high school, but the main reason why I started working out in high school was because I was always an extremely heavy kid. Okay. And there's a lot of bullying involved, mental health involved, that kind of drove me to want to change my physical body into where I'm at today. And if I'm able to have, if fitness was able to have that type of impact on me, I also kind of entertained the idea of what can fitness do for other people.
Okay. Yeah. So you brought up bullying, and this is a quick, we're veering off a bit. Bullying. So with today's society of PC culture, right?
Sure.
You can't say anything bad in school. Okay. Yeah. If bullying is non-existent, how can the kids get in shape? Like, what is pushing them? Because what pushed you was the negative.
Yeah.
If you don't have any negativity in school, what could push you? Yeah. So with all these kids growing up, and they're heavier now, right?
Sure.
And you can't go outside. Mm-hmm. What could you tell kids? Hey, do this instead.
I see now with that itself. I need to be very cautious on what I verbalize, because again, we do live. I feel that we do live in a society where there are a lot of people who have made it a normality to be okay with the idea of not being healthy. When I say healthy, I mean with your mental health, your emotional health, your physical health, and even your financial health. I think a lot of kids just need some form of awareness, and I think accepting everybody for who they are as a person is such a beautiful thing. Accepting them for who they are internally, but ignoring the fact that Jimmy or Suzanne Smith needs to lose 40, 50 pounds because they could potentially die. I think that also needs to have some form of awareness in a way that stands out to them, that alerts them, but doesn't belittle them as human beings. And I'm gonna go as far as to say this, knowing that I might get a little bit of backlash from it. I think a lot of people have beautified the idea of being obese without acknowledging the factors of potentially having that obesity cause you some form of health damaging things happen in your life for long term.
Yeah.
And again, there's been many coaches, trainers, fitness professionals that have been attacked for saying that specific statement, but I don't think that normalizing heart disease or diabetes or anything that's obese related should be normalized and should be beautified. Yes, every human being is beautiful for who they are, their thought process, their faith, their personality, characteristics, but I think there's more.
But you could tell somebody, hey, lay off the Twix for a little bit. You know, you could say something like that. You just can't body shame. You know,
Sure, definitely.
You can't do that. You just can't throw somebody down. And you could throw some words of encouragement. You know,
Oh,
say,
definitely.
hey, you want to go eat a salad with me? You know, just.
Well, there's definitely a connection between the way people eat in combination with the way they feel. A lot of people do utilize food as an escape.
Yeah.
And I was actually one of those people when I was younger.
You ate your feelings?
I ate my feelings away, man, especially after heartbreaks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A big tub of ice cream, or what was your go-to?
A big tub of ice cream. No, it was actually, I was a big burger guy and pizza puff guy.
Okay.
Dip it in ranch sauce.
Okay.
Get some hot flamings, get a nice little Coca-Cola, and just have at it, man. That was my
I
thing.
see a little saliva coming
Yeah,
down
man, it's been a while since I had that. It's been a while. I might just, we'll see.
Do you think you would have been the Milton you are today if you weren't bullied?
Definitely not. Definitely not. I believe that if I grew up in an entitled environment, in an environment where everything was sunshine and rainbows,
Everybody gets an award.
everyone gets an award. I feel that the thick skin that I have today, the ability to adapt to my environment wouldn't be present. I feel that I would expect a lot of hand-me-downs, and I think I'd be expecting life to work out for me consistently, without having to go through any struggle.
Yeah, that's a tough battle to do. You know, I think bullying is essential for growth. I mean, you have to not just bully. I don't want to just say that, but some sort of adversity. You have to face something.
Some form of challenge, definitely.
You have to have a challenge because you're never going to get better.
Yeah.
If you're content with the way you are,
Yeah.
what are you doing? You know? But so when you got into fitness and you started coaching and getting into people's lives trying to better themselves, have you ever experienced any failures as far as a coach? Like not pushing somebody hard enough or pushing somebody too hard, not knowing how the body works and, you know, injuring somebody? If you failed, did you learn from it?
Yeah, I mean, I've been involved in the fitness industry for about 10 years. And unfortunately, due to the lack of knowledgeable application, and once again, not due to the lack of knowledge, but due to the lack of the application of the knowledge that I had, I lost so much time trying to figure out what my niche was in the fitness industry. And that specifically led to many discouraging moments and a lot of shortcomings, and it even cut me off from desiring to even invest more time into my craft, which at the end of the day led to mediocre service. You know, when I first started, it started off with I just want to train people. I don't care about health. I don't care about sculpture.
You just want a good body.
I just hey, you want a six pack? Let's do it. You know, like green beans and chicken all day. You know, not knowing that there was a there was a science behind the approach. There was a science behind the nutrition. There was a science behind the training that needed to take place that I knew of, but I was just so reliant on the idea of like just train hard, and that's all it is. Just like now, as you know, I started my LLC, and I started my LLC during the pandemic.
Yeah, that's amazing. Congratulations.
That's definitely something that that pushed me again past my level of comfort, and it definitely brought a lot of character building opportunities for me. You know, when you are willing to drop your W-2 job and start a business in the middle of a pandemic where half the population of the United States lost their jobs, and they're relying on a stimulus check or on government benefits. That's definitely a big thing that allowed me to grow. And just like that, starting that business, I learned a lot in the beginning, trying to figure my way into the industry. Again, in my family, everyone had a W-2 job. I'm the first person in my family to release the W-2 idea and open up my own business, my own LLC, and literally kick something off from scratch, not knowing what steps to take.
And what was that like for your family to accept?
To this day, it's rough.
Yeah.
To this day, I have my mother calling me every day, like, "Hey,
Tony's hiring," or
if you need a job, I have this lady who's willing to hire you for $13 an hour at a factory, or like, hey, why don't you go back to school and get your master's degree and work at a 9 to 5, get a 401k, retire somewhere safe, because they're not used to the idea of relying on yourself for money.
Yeah.
And just like in the beginning when I first started training and started working in the industry, and now that I'm part of the industry, where in a couple of weeks I'm opening up my own gym. The app will be out within this year, and I have my own LLC. So that within itself, when you don't have someone feeding you with a spoon, it's really hard to know, all right, what step do I take now?
It's scary.
It's scary because now you're the one making the footprints. You're not following footprints. You're the one creating the footprints yourself.
Yeah.
So again, in the very beginning, I feel like you make a lot of mistakes.
Yeah.
You make a lot of mistakes, and through those mistakes, you're able to learn, like, okay, yeah, I'm definitely not doing that again. So you do burn a lot of bridges, and if you're not slow to act and quick to learn, I feel that in the very beginning, your life's going to teach you a lot. Okay. But I feel like just in the beginning to where I'm at right now, as time has progressed, I've been able to pick up on a lot more things and learn a lot more, which, glory to God, in my eyes, it's allowed me to get where I'm at today with my business and the entrepreneurship that I'm doing and the connections that I'm building.
That's dope. So with your LLC, did you do any homework before you just jumped out?
No, of course. Well, yeah. So it wasn't a moment of impulsiveness where I sat in my kitchen one day. I'm like, all right, I'm just dropping my W-2 job, doing an LLC. It was more of like, all right, what are the benefits? What are the pros? What are the cons? What can I get out of this versus what can I get out of this? And of course, with a W-2 job, a 9 to 5 job, or overnight, whatever the case may be, there's security.
Yeah.
There's security, and if you lose your job, you get benefits and you get unemployment, and by the age of 60, 65, when you retire, you have a 401k, you have all the security in the world. But at the end of the day, you're literally trading every hour for an amount of money.
Yeah.
You're trading time for money, and that's something that I just couldn't see myself doing. And with the LLC, of course, there's risk. There's risk for everything in the world, right? There's a risk of staying stagnant your entire life, and then you're 70, 80 years old on your deathbed, and you're wondering, why did I stay where I'm at? And I could have done so much more. But now you've passed on that same cycle to your kids and then your grandkids, that it's just ongoing. And that's something that I definitely didn't want to do for myself.
And the thing is, I think somewhere along the educational system, we're programmed to think like that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, we're taught to, you got to graduate.
Yeah.
You got to go to college so you can get a good job. You got to, I always thought of, man, I got to get a better job. I got to get a better job. There is no better job.
Yeah.
You're just trading one slave master for another.
Yeah.
It's the same hell, new room. Nothing different. But I think that if school started teaching kids, hey, this is how you open your LLC. Mm-hmm. This is how you balance your account. This is how, put them in real life situations. Sure. I mean, they got away with home ec. Why not bring economics and start your own business instead of giving you a chicken egg and say, don't break it.
Sure.
I think kids would benefit way more, especially now in the pandemic.
Yeah.
Take that time. And homeschooling, dude, Absolutely. I'm at homeschooling. E-learning got to go, man. That's just me. E-learning got to go. I think parents could benefit teaching their kids by themselves. I mean, not by themselves, but get away from the system.
Sure,
The system is not helping you right
man.
now.
And I think to kind of piggyback off of what you're saying, I went to public school, and fortunately, the public school that I went to, which I won't name, really didn't, or at least the staff. I'm sure the schooling system within itself had their own agenda, but a lot of these teachers are burnt out, man. A lot of these teachers, I'm sure, when they walk into their careers, they come in with the good intention of like, I want to change Jimmy's life, and I want to be able to show X, Y, and Z person that they can do more. But after so many traumatized kids come from such broken homes, and they come into the school with no expectations and low self-esteem, it can be very challenging for the staff itself. So during the time that I was going to school, that was the case, and unfortunately I didn't get much out of the schooling system within itself. So that kind of left me in thin air, kind of wondering, all right, what do I do with my life now? And one of the things that I do believe is there's this saying that they say that entrepreneurs are born. And I, excuse the language, but I believe that's bullshit, man. I believe that entrepreneurship can be taught.
Okay.
I believe that everyone can be taught on how to run a business, on how to create something out of what they're good at, out of something that they're passionate about. I do believe that there's a difference between your life's work and a job. A job is something that will financially provide for the short term, but your life's work is what's going to provide for you for the long term, even past your own existence. And I think a lot of times we spend so much time trying to figure out what makes more money, let's chase the money, chase the bags, that we completely forget that there's something within us. And whether you're a spiritual person or you're not a spiritual person, I believe that everyone is good at something that can be monetized. It's just a matter of finding what that work is. And our creator, whether you believe in God or whether you believe in the constellations, the horoscopes, I'm a believer in God. I believe that our creator, our God, placed our work, our life's work, or our calling, or the will that's out there for us in the one place that we can't miss it, and that's within us. A lot of people spend years searching exteriorly on what do I need to do, or where can I find purpose, when in reality it's all inside. It's just a matter of seeking within.
Yeah.
As spiritual as that sounds, it's so simple, but so many people don't want to take that time.
It's so hard to seek within when you're kind of fed what to believe.
Sure.
Yeah. Like, you wouldn't know you're an entrepreneur in fashion design because you're too busy trying to buy the new Yeezys. Why is it important to not only take care of your body, but to take care of your mind? And how do you maintain a balance?
Well, for starters, for sure, the body that you have right now is the only body you're going to have during this time of existence for you.
Unless you believe in reincarnation.
Unless you believe in reincarnation, that you'll come back as a dog or something. I don't know. I've entangled with the idea, but it's really hard for me to grasp onto the idea.
Yeah.
But it's cool. I like to come back as Paris Hilton's dog, or as something that will just help you relax.
But the bad thing about reincarnation, you don't have a say in what you could be.
Yeah.
You could be a fire ant the next life. You're fucked.
Yeah. Dude, one of the things that I've learned about our bodies, that our bodies are faithful, man, to us. They're loyal to us as long as you're able to take care of it. Our bodies go through constant adaptation, constant. For our survival, they adapt to stress. They adapt to our environment. They adapt to the food that we consume. They adapt to the activities that we pursue, and they adapt to the thoughts that we think. It's consistently adapting. And one of the jobs that we're given as human beings is to be able to take care of that body. Unfortunately, many of us don't. And then we see the effects of it, whether it's through some form of substance, or whether it's through lack of sleep and stress, whether it's through horrible eating habits, or just lifestyles that could potentially be detrimental to our bodies as a whole. And one of the things that one of my clients, Matt Topala, says a lot is when you look good, you feel good. And when you feel good, you do good. And when you do good, it's all good. And there's so much truth behind it. As simple as that sounds, there's so much truth behind that. That if you don't take care of your physical body, you're not going to look good. And if you're not going to look good, whether you're a big believer in this or not, subconsciously you're not going to feel good. And if you don't feel good, that leads to you not feeling good mentally, emotionally. And if you're not feeling good mentally, emotionally, there's going to be zero drive for you to pursue something financially. Then that's where your finances go down the drain, and that leads to more emotional and mental turmoil. And when those things are falling apart, how is it easy? How will you come around doing good for others when you can't even help yourself out? So it's a cycle. It's a cycle, and it feeds off each other. It's a domino effect.
Yeah.
So I do believe that taking care of your body, taking care of your mental health is one of the biggest things in the world, because if you can't provide for yourself, what makes you think that you'll be able to provide for other people?
How do you take care of your mental health?
Oh man, I actually had to learn the hard way. I'm gonna make this very short. That'll be maybe for another podcast. I was really never taught on how to take care of my mental health growing up. I didn't know what was right, what was wrong, what was expression of emotion, what was being able to pour out. I didn't understand what vulnerability was. I was always taught that real men don't cry.
Yeah, the machismo.
Yeah, suppress your emotion.
Yeah.
And if I even showed a tear in front of my father, he would like give me that face, and I would just simmer up knowing that something was coming if I didn't just relax. But it's not until my father's death in 2016 that my mind, my heart, my body gave out in a way where I just started having mental and emotional breakdowns. And at the time, I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know that, oh, this is an anxiety attack, or oh, this is a panic attack, or oh, this is what depression feels like. It's not until the first day I ended up in the hospital thinking I actually was having a heart attack. When in reality, like, sir, you're having a panic attack. You're fine. You just go home, take some meds, or, well, you should probably go to a psychologist. And that's, and you know, being told that your heart's not going to explode, it's just your mind, but you physically feel like you're about to die, that triggered something inside of me to be curious about what mental health is. So from 2016 up to this day today, I took it upon myself to learn. You know, obviously not Wikipedia sources, but actually reliable, you know, sources that come from doctors, people who actually studied the craft for many, many years. And that's when I started studying the science of anxiety, studying the science behind the brain and our physiology, and how it connects into one, and you know how our gut health plays a huge role into our mental health. So I started doing a lot of practical things for myself. Started becoming a lot more mindful, because when I started acting upon intentionally protecting my mental health, that's when I started seeing my outlook on life be very, very different to where it was at one point, which was a very dark place. But I do believe that everyone in this world will go through some form of depression or some form of mental health crisis at some point or another, whether it's when they're super young, middle age, or once they get older. But I do believe that everyone will go through it, and everyone will experience it differently based on the way they were brought up.
So I know the pandemic has brought a lot of depression.
Sure.
You know, a lot of anxiety attacks. Everybody's losing their jobs, not getting their stimmy checks in, right?
Sure.
How did you cope with the pandemic? You know, did it drive you into anxiety attack? Did you have fear of what's to come?
You know, I was just talking about this topic with one of my friends, and we were talking about, you know, and everyone's going crazy. There's people who are ending up in mental hospitals, and you know, people who we thought were sane, they're losing their minds because of this. You know, shit's hitting the fan. People are losing money. People are losing homes. So I had a lot of my buddies who actually started businesses early last year, and they didn't expect everything to be shut down, so they lost their businesses. They put in their entire savings into a business, and everything just went south. So you can imagine having 2-3 kids, having a wife, and then putting your entire savings into a business that you thought was going to take off, just completely hit the floor. You know, coming from, again, I think a lot of it comes from what environment that you're exposed to, from what kind of environment you're exposed to from a very young age. Unfortunately, but yet again, fortunately, I was exposed to a lot of chaos growing up. There was a lot of emotional imbalance within my household. And I feel that emotional imbalancement allowed me to easily adapt to chaos on the exterior of what goes on around me. So I would say it's easy for me to adapt in the middle of stress, in the middle of chaos. It's almost, I don't want to say addicting, but you know, I did realize that at a time in my life, in order for me to feel functional, I would subconsciously put myself in situations that would cause stress and cause chaos in my life, because it made me feel like I was at home. Stress became home to me. Chaos became home to me. So I acknowledged it and I addressed it, and to the point where I needed to heal from a lot of things from my childhood, a lot of childhood traumas and a lot of inner child things. So last year, I was already in the midst of healing through all those things that I encountered as a child, growing up, young adult, preteen, teenager. It did catch me off guard. But the beautiful thing about our media, there's so many trends, right? Now that we have social media, Instagram, Facebook, even Snapchat, Twitter, we get news from things going on even before the live stream media exposes it to us. So like, you have all these conspiracy theories, you have all these people, exposing things online. Like, okay, I see the trend. Let me start preparing for it, right? So, again, in the middle of all that, I feel like I was at peace, but I just needed to be able to come up with a game plan to be able to adapt to what was going to come, and being able to be at least 3 or 4 steps ahead, so that way it wouldn't impact me as much as everyone else who wasn't prepared for it.
Every moment that you feel like giving up, remind yourself of why you're here. What's your anchor thought? What's your why? What's the decision that you made in order to show up to this field today on a Sunday morning when it's hot as hell, it's humid, most of you probably didn't sleep, most of you probably didn't eat, most of you probably aren't hydrated, but you're here. You left your kids, you left your husband, you left your wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, side piece, baby daddy, baby mama, but you're here. Make it count, make it work. We have final 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, sprint.
We building our mind, along with our health and our strength. Business gonna take off.
Last dance, baby.
Again, congrats on your SMB Performance LLC. What pushed you to pursue your own business?
Number one, I got tired of working for the man. I know a lot of entrepreneurs say that. I got tired of working for the man. But one of my main things is I got tired of being undervalued, man. I got tired of my experience and my knowledge being limited to certain guidelines, certain rules and regulations. I got tired of working for commission-based jobs where I only got 8-10% of whatever I brought into that facility, and I just wanted to see if I was able to disrupt the culture in that specific industry. Because again, this industry is very cutthroat. Everyone has their own ways of doing things. Everyone has their own fan base. Everyone has their own philosophies. Some people love you. Some people hate you. But I wanted to see what I could do, what I could bring that would be very different than anybody else. And I do believe that since everyone does have their uniqueness, I wanted to see what my specific uniqueness could bring forth that could potentially be life-changing to me, to the people that I interact with, and how the structure of my business can bring more fruit compared to any other business that's been out there in the Midwest or even nationally, man. Because SMB Performance is definitely something that started off local, and that's definitely expanded to something greater.
All right.
Yeah.
So let's talk about SMB then. So what do you offer that other gyms don't? Like, what are you trying to show everybody to say, hey, come join me, F them? Sure.
F them. Right. No. So I think that within the name itself, SMB, Spirit, Mind, and Body. I try to approach my training, my philosophy, my nutrition, everything that I do within the gym, what I do within my training sessions, my interactions with my clients and anyone that I network, is that there's a philosophy that I follow that not only attacks your physical body, but it also attacks your mental health, your spiritual health. And when I say spiritual, I don't mean any religious belief or a Gandhi, or I'm gonna sit there and pray and meditate and speak to the stars. It just whatever spiritual is to you specifically, let's enhance that. What can we do to enhance that part of your life? What can we do to enhance your mental health? What can we do to enhance your physical body in any way? whether you have herniated discs, whether you have scoliosis, whether you have heart disease, whatever the case may be. What can I do to customize it specifically to you? I approach it a lot, again, with a lot of science-based philosophies. Okay. If I don't know the answer to it, I connect myself to the right people to get you the right answer. In my circle of friends and my network, I have dietitians on board, I have doctors on board, chiropractors on board, I have physical therapists on board, I have people who have masters and masters and PhDs in kinesiology, people who have literally studied the body for 30, 40 years, and that's their craft. So the services that I provide are narrowed down to a blueprint, specifically to you. There's a difference between a fitness professional and a personal trainer. And I would like to think that I'm past that personal training stage and now I'm more of a fitness professional. And a fitness professional has the experience, has the knowledge, has the degree, or if not the certifications, and has the biggest thing that all trainers want is the before and afters, has the testimonials. A personal trainer has a 2-3 day workshop that they go to over the weekend, and then all of a sudden they're certified and they're personal trainers, and all they do is count reps and try to get you in shape. There's a difference. And it's unfortunate a lot of times, personal trainers tend to outshine fitness professionals because people don't want to pay the price for it, or people don't want to actually sit there and invest their time into having a professional by their side. That's one of the things that comes with my business. Another thing that comes with my business is I also do a lot of online training, and I do in-home meal prep services. Okay. Now, the online training doesn't just involve my locals. I've been blessed with the opportunity to be able to travel nationally and internationally.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so right now in the United States, I have clients in Arizona, in Texas, in Minnesota, in California, in Colorado, New York, Miami, Florida, Louisiana. And once a month, I actually fly out to either of those states, or sometimes I spend an entire week traveling from state to state for at least 1 or 2 days, visiting my online clients. Wow. And I spend a day, 2-3 days with them, and whatever they need help with, whether it's meal prep, whether it's measuring or weighing their foods, whether it's understanding the psychology behind the training, or understanding the science behind what we're doing and why we're doing it, understanding, just what a squat is, because a lot of people say, okay, give me a squat, and they show you the squat, but they don't explain the science behind it. They don't explain the mechanics behind it. One of the biggest things that a lot of personal trainers don't do is biofeedback, and that's one of the main things that I try to focus on with my clientele. So it's just that experience. Like, you pay for what you're paying for, you're getting. So I'm going to go the extra mile and travel to you. I'm going to go the extra mile and visit you at your house and purge your kitchen cabinets. So that's where the in-home meal prep services come from. Last year, and then this year, I was kind of dwelling on the idea: what can I do to kind of stand out? What can I do to make myself known in the Chicagoland area? Yeah. And I have a lot of entrepreneurs as clients who are rarely home, who don't have time. They're always eating out. That's another thing. I make myself accessible. Meaning what? My biggest days are today, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. People go out. People like to have a good time. People are social. So I have clients calling me, FaceTiming me, Zoom calling me at 1, 2 in the morning, like, hey, what's up, coach? And I pick up, half asleep, or if I'm awake, I'm awake. I'm like, all right, where are you at now? Like, oh, and again, they're belligerently drunk, right? Like, I'm at IHOP, or I'm at this burger place, and I'm like, all right, do you want me to choose for you, or are you gonna give me options? They're like, no, man, just choose for me. All right, give your server the phone. So I tell them exactly what they need to eat for that night.
Really?
Or if they're like, you know what, these are my options, and they give me like 3 options. Okay, cool. Let me talk to your server. He's gonna have this, but he's gonna swap this out for that out for that. Hey, Joe Schmo, do you want fries? Yeah, I want fries, coach. And he's, laughing his ass off in the background. All right, cool. He's gonna have the fries, but the next morning I make sure to text him like, all right, you had fries 4 hours ago, you drunk ass. So now this morning you need to wake your ass up and do 45 minutes of cardio, right? So I make myself accessible. Yeah. So now for a lot of my entrepreneur clients who travel and who are always out on business dinners and things of that nature, they call me like, hey, I'm at Gibson's Italian Steakhouse, or I'm at Maestro's, or I'm here. Yeah. What can I get? All right, let me check their menu. Give me like 2 minutes. So I list other things that they can order. Wow. So accessibility is one of the biggest things. And, a lot of times when you are an entrepreneur, you're always out eating. Yeah. If you don't know anything about tax write-offs, you will be spending a lot of money on eating out for yourself and your clients. So I came up with the idea, like, what if I made their meal prepping a little bit easier? They don't have to cook. They don't have to purchase meal preps through other companies and drop an arm and a leg because they already have it prepared. What if I were to include it into my services? So that's the thing. I include it. It's free. I include it into my services, so people don't have to pay an extra dollar or dime. So I experimented with one of my clients, Matt and Sheena Sapala. They brought me into their kitchen, like, all right, just do whatever you want. So, a lot of people want the option of them shopping themselves. They shop themselves, and they just bring the food and they have it ready for me. Or a lot of times people don't have the time, so I go shopping for them. They just give me the finances, and I go shopping for them. I bring the food to their household and tell them, like, okay, great, this is what we're gonna eat for the rest of the week. Or if they want, like, hey, this is what I want, this is what I'm craving. Cool, we'll bring something up with that. Yeah, it's either I do the cooking or I bring one of my friends who's a chef, and he helps me cook for them. And now it's my job to scale the food, weigh the food, measure the food that meets their numbers, their carbs, their fats, their proteins for their specific goals.
Yeah.
And now it's at home. The food's ready to go in the fridge. All they need to do in the morning is just go into the fridge, grab their foods, and boom, they're ready for the day. Wow. So now that expanded so tremendously here in Chicago that I thought, what if I just provided those services, nationally? So I did, and people grabbed onto it. I have a couple clients in Orange County, a couple clients in Palmdale, California, Fontana, California, Riverside, California, that love the idea.
And you travel over there?
Actually, tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., I'm being flown out to California.
Wow.
To do some meal prep services.
It's a lot of traveling for you, and you're the only one doing
fun.
this.
I
know it's fun. I love traveling.
Yeah.
I don't envy you.
And I'm the only one doing this, in-home meal prep services, and I'm going to get a patent on it in case anyone's listening to this idea.
It's not, nobody else does this.
Nobody else does this.
I was going to ask you, but I'm like, maybe might be one competition because it sounds like such a home run.
I'm getting a patent on this.
That's awesome.
It's done. It's over.
That is
I'm getting
awesome.
a patent on this.
So you're the fitness Mary Poppins.
Without the umbrella.
Without the umbrella.
With the dumbbell. Yeah.
You fly out the cloud with the dumbbell.
Right.
Yeah. Where did this idea come from? I mean, because it seems so easy and so obvious.
Again, just the desire to stand out. Again, the fitness industry is super cutthroat, man. Everyone has a bicep. Everyone looks good on camera. Everyone looks good on Instagram, especially when you know how to use filter and Photoshop. Everyone looks great, man. Yeah. Everyone on Instagram wants to be a fitness coach. Everybody, I have a couple, men and women, but mainly women on my Instagram who they sell products, fitness products, whether they're those hip circle bands, those booty bands, or waist trainers. Not knocking the coaches or trainers who are certified, who have an education, who are actually trainers. I'm talking about people who have zero certifications, people who have zero knowledge, people who have zero understanding of the science behind our anatomy or our physiology, but yet just because they know how to do 4 sets of 10 reps of squats, they all of a sudden want to sell fitness products, and they want to consider themselves coaches. So now there's a lot of people out there desperately looking for someone to help them lose weight, but they don't have the finances to be able to pay a professional, that they will literally hire any fool to help them during this journey. So now that increases the competition in this industry, because people are no longer asking for degrees. People are no longer asking like, hey, are you certified? People are just saying, hey, can you help me lose weight? Can you help me look like you? Yeah, great. That's probably Photoshop, but can you help me? And a lot of people out there, they're money hungry, man.
Yeah.
They just want to take people's money.
Yeah.
So now that the competition is so much higher, it's being able to find what can I personally do to stand out from everybody else. And the in-home meal prep services has definitely been the thing that has allowed my business to take off from where I started financially to where I'm headed towards in the next year or 2 years.
That's awesome. So are you planning to hire more trainers to fly with you?
So now I have a couple, I'm trying to give you information without giving you everything. So that way certain ideas aren't taken. Or
is it just going to be you flying from state to state?
No,
All right, I'll be there in an hour.
Yeah, right.
Let me jump in a jet.
Let me get on my private jet.
Yeah.
Speak that into existence, man. Speak it into existence, baby. No, once I officially open my gym, I definitely want to build a structure where I can go wide. And by building wide, it means multiplying myself. And by multiplying myself, I don't mean that everyone needs to train the way I do, believe the way I do. But definitely have your own set of education, have your certifications, have your education, have your own philosophy. But if you're going to be working for my gym, or you're going to be traveling in my place, there needs to be a little bit of Milton philosophy in you, with some personalized version of yourself as well. So that way we can expand this, right? Unless you're just trying to be, you're just trying to, build a branch from with your own brand, and that's a different story, right? That's a different route to go to. But I do plan on expanding myself, working with a lot of students who are going to school still as a form of internship. Because eventually I do plan on withdrawing myself from actually training people one-on-one and just having multiple trainers out in the field for me and doing what I'm doing. Like, hey, Joe Schmo, I have someone in Arizona that needs training for a weekend and they need you to do some meal prep. Cool. I got your ticket. Your ticket's ready to go. You leave in 3 weeks. Or like, hey, Susan, I got an emergency call this Saturday that for this Saturday she needs X, Y, and Z. You have availability? Yeah, great. Okay, cool. This is how much you get paid. That's the next 5 years.
That's awesome.
That's the next 5 years.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
So where can somebody go to seek your services?
For right now, again, social media. That's the biggest thing for me. I get a lot of my pull, my leverage on Instagram, Facebook. They can do Twitter. They can do email. Just shoot me a text directly. I have my personal number online. Fortunately, to this day, knock on wood, I haven't had any creeps text me or call me.
Okay.
So like people have respected the fact that I put my number out there and they don't blow up my phone. But yeah, mainly social media for right now. The website's not going to happen until I am wide enough, because I feel with the website, the website's going to happen when I kind of take my hands off of the clientele base. The end goal is just to have 2-3 clients under my belt long term, and then everything else just falls under every other coach, every other trainer that I have working with me. So the website will come in the next couple of years, just not anytime soon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What are your professional pet peeves? Because I mean, you've been in this game a bit, so
Yeah.
I'm sure you have a laundry list, man. But if you were to nail down your top 5 pet peeves, top 3, what would they be?
Professional pet peeves. One of the things that I guess you can say like Peter Griffin, right? What grinds my gears. Having the expecting others to keep you accountable, which robs you from the opportunity of being able to grow as an individual. A lot of times you see that clients, they lack results, and a lot of times the clients tend to blame the coaches or the fitness professionals without consulting them of, all right, let's see where we went wrong, let's see what you didn't do, and let's see where you didn't follow. 'Cause there's a lot of times that, there's a lot of fitness professionals out there who generally give you grade A workout plans and grade A nutritional plans, and just the programs are so on point. They're professional plans. And, if I have Joe Schmo on a 4-day split during the week, and he's trying to build his lower body, but at the same time lose his midsection. And if I have Joe Schmo working Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays off, and then Thursday, Fridays, and I tell Joe Schmo, like, hey, you're expected to do fasted cardio 3 or 4 days out of that week for at least 35 to 45 minutes. And this is the expectation for your food, and this is the expectation for your supplementation, if any. And since you're trying to compete, it's not just I'm just trying to lose a pound or two here and there. I'm trying to actually compete in a couple of weeks, or I have a vacation to go to, or I'm getting ready for a wedding. Then the expectations for you also need to change your lifestyle a little bit. I need you to start adding a little bit more sleep if you have the availability. I need you to be more mindful of X, Y, and Z. So now when we come back in 6 weeks and we revisit Joe Schmo's plan, and Joe Schmo only lost 1 pound and his gut's still there, and he's sitting there blaming the coach, we need to see what Joe Schmo didn't do on his own.
Yeah.
But then there are also trainers out there who feel very entitled, who think, oh no, it's the client's job to get the results. It's just my job to write out a workout plan and give them a meal plan, and they don't listen to me, SOL. That's lack of professionalism.
Yeah, there's no accountability from either side.
People hire you so you can be that person in their lives.
Yeah.
So when there's lack of communication, That's one of my biggest pet peeves. When people set false expectations for one another, another one of my biggest pet peeves. And the fact that people think there's a blue magical pill that will get you to your goal without having to pay you an X amount of money, and they expect you to just pour out on them for the minimal. It's definitely a slap in the face. Because I do have clients who are willing to work with me, and financially they work with what I charge. And then I also have clients of mine, or people who have tried to be my clients, who lowball me, who pay me at a very minimal, and I tell them, like, hey man, I haven't charged this rate since I was probably 19 years old. Like, it's been 10 years.
Money, man.
This is gas money. Like me going to the gym just to see you, I just wasted what you just paid me.
Yeah.
But many people find that offensive.
Yeah.
Many people don't see the value in what I do, so I rather not work with those individuals. But then, unfortunately, social media is huge, and people tend to try to burn bridges and try to defame you and X, Y, and Z, but just they don't see the bigger picture. But yeah, man, that's for that.
So accountability is the biggest pet peeve then?
Yeah, accountability, man. Accountability is one of the biggest things for me.
Is punctuality a thing for you? Because I would think that, like, man, they're always late, man.
Yeah.
Time is money. Let's go.
It is. I think I just got too sidetracked with accountability, because that's one of the biggest things.
That's the thing that drove you.
Yeah. So punctuality is also huge. My belief is to be early is to be on time, and to be on time is to be late. If you're gonna be on time, I need you to show up 10-15 minutes earlier. Your warm up shouldn't be taking place during our session. Does that make sense? Yep. So like if we're scheduled for 6 p.m., show up at 5:30 or 5:45 and warm up. So that way when I get there, we can jump into your workout. You know, also that one in itself, you know, time is money as well.
Yeah.
You know, like a lot of my clients, they expect me to train them for the entire hour. If our session is at 6 p.m. and they show up at 6:30, they expect the full hour. And unfortunately, I have other clients that need to attend to that paid for their sessions already, or they're paid for that service. And I can't help you and give you the full entire hour because the world doesn't revolve around you. Yeah. So again, it's disrespectful. You know, it's disrespectful of time, disrespectful of energy, disrespectful of just the value that you have and what you bring to the table. So those two, yes, it's accountability and punctuality. Communication. Communication too? Final one, man. Communicate. If you feel some type of way, talk to me. We're adults, you know. Communication, like, hey, I'm gonna be 10 minutes late, or hey, I'm not feeling it today, or hey, I'm going through something, or hey, you know, my mental health isn't so great. Instead of making me feel like I did something wrong and you're giving me the silent treatment throughout the entire session. Communicate with me. Tell me what's going on. You don't have to get into detail, but just as adults, let's talk. Accountability, punctuality, communication. Biggest three things for me on a professional level.
Top three. So what words of advice could you give somebody that wants to change their life, but they feel like they're stuck?
Take a step back. Take a step back and assess your life. Like truly assess it. Every aspect, or just the aspect or the area of your life that you're stuck in. Take a pen and paper, jot down your short and your long-term goals. Come up with a game plan. Come up with a blueprint on, you know, what it is you're trying to do in the next X, Y, and Z years, and write out all your goals. You know, and then after you write out all your goals, find your top 2-3 goals, and then everything below that, just ignore it. Forget about it. Just focus on those top 3 goals. And if you have a shorter list, then just focus on your first 1 or 2 goals and make those your priority. And once you have those goals there and you know exactly what you want and why you want it, because again, you need to be able to have a strong enough why, strong enough anchor thought on what you're trying to get out of those 2 goals and why you're trying to achieve those 2 goals, whether it's physical, whether it's mental, emotional, financial, career, life, personal relationships, professional relationships, whatever the case may be. After that, you know, find the resources. Connect with people who have mastered that specific craft or that state of mind, or put yourself in the right environment when it comes down to you trying to achieve certain specific things. You know, if I'm trying to achieve a 7-figure income, I'm not going to continue hanging out with people who make minimum wage. I'm going to hang out with entrepreneurs who are making 7 figures or close to $1 billion a year, or a year,
or
but
at least have
lifetime.
the same mindset.
Exactly.
That you're doing something about it.
Yes, exactly. But most of all, man, practice. It's one of the biggest things. You know, one can be mindful if they don't practice mindfulness. One can't be fit if they don't practice fitness. One can't be healthy if they don't practice healthy lifestyles. It's something that you need to consistently do. And the beautiful thing about this is that we've been on this earth for so long that there's been so many people that have already been in our shoes. So that being said, there's a blueprint to everything in life, whether it's financial, whether it's mental, whether it's physical. There's a blueprint to everything: how to build a business, how to structure a car, how to change an oil, how to do an oil change. We have YouTube, man. We have
YouTube University. That's all.
exactly.
Yeah.
You know, everything has a source. You know, what's the source of that specific thing that you're trying to accomplish, or that obstacle that you're trying to get past? And at the end of the day, you know, it's having the understanding that it's a journey. You know, life as a journey is definitely not a straight path for anybody. And the beautiful thing about this journey is that there's so many character building opportunities in this journey. And all of those character building opportunities gives you the chance to be molded into the man or the woman that you're meant to become in life. But it's just being able to be in the right environments. You know, we're all going to go through some shit. We're all going to go through the dirt. But one of the most beautiful things about going through dirt is that if you know how to go through the dirt and yet be in the right environment, aka your fertilizer, what grows in dirt? Flowers. What grows in dirt? Trees. What grows in dirt? Vegetables, plantation, especially if it has the right fertilization. So yes, all these seeds are in dirt, but if it has the right environment with fertilization, it will grow into something great that becomes another resource. So I believe that our jobs as human beings is to become resourceful to one another. We're all a puzzle piece within this big ass picture called life. We're all living in this thing called time within this thing called eternity. And we don't know when it begins, we don't know when it ends. All we know is that one day we just won't open our eyes again, and that's it. And I would hate to die one day and say, or think right before I die, like I literally made zero impact. I did not empty myself of what I was called to do, of the works that I had within me. And everything that I had inside of my life, inside of my mind, my heart, all the desires, they're stuck in me, and I'm gonna die with my dreams. I'm gonna die with my visions, with my inventions, with my ideas that no one else could have benefited from. And I do believe that's one of the most selfish things in the world.
That's deep. That's deep.
I didn't even smoke weed. I don't even smoke.
I did. Wow, that's tough, man. To die knowing you didn't fulfill your purpose.
Yeah.
Like that is a different side. That's a different emptiness right there.
Yeah.
To realize that before you pass.
It's a different conviction, man.
Man,
It's a different conviction for
that's
sure.
deep. You didn't smoke weed when you thought of that, or you just wow.
It's one of those moments, you know.
That's a good moment to
It's
have.
one of those moments.
It's a gem. Do you have any special shout outs?
Yeah, I actually had to write these down. So you guys just so you guys know, I will be on my phone for like 2 seconds. Just I didn't want to forget anybody.
It's the acceptance speech.
Yeah, right. Number one, above all things, for those people who know me, they know I'm a man of faith. Number one shout out is God. I wouldn't have anything that I had, anything that I have, and anything that I'm going to have. Nothing that you see on my social media, nothing that you see in person, anything on me, anything that I'm wearing, anything that I'm acting upon, any trips that I take, nothing would be there without God. Nothing. My career, my money, my family, my health, my looks, anything that describes me as a person, it wouldn't be without God. Second will be my mother, man. That lady instilled so many principles and values in me that I carry on to this day. Whether I apply them or not, that's a different story. But she definitely did her job, her due diligence to be able to raise a man like me. Third one, my pastor. I think you actually know him, Pastor Molina.
Yeah, Molina.
That man definitely has been there through the darkest moments of my life, and he's one of the few people who actually believed in me when literally nobody else. And you hear that a lot. You hear that a lot. Like, oh yeah, this person believed in me. No, man, that man believed in me when literally no one believed in me. When everyone turned their backs on me, he was there on every level. And these last two people, they've actually helped me with my business, with giving me advice, supporting me, giving me advice, and just trying to help me align my head to where it needs to be in order to be a successful businessman. And that's Matt and Sheena Sapala, my clients. Those two people definitely put me in position mentally to be able to move forward. And it's not so much their own teachings one-on-one, it's just from observing them, observing how they do in their jobs, observing what they do in their business, how they work with people, how they run their household, how they interact with people that don't have as much as they do, or how they interact with people who have a lot more than they do. It's just, it's very humbling being able to be around that energy, that environment. And
it's contagious.
Contagious, definitely. And definitely the last shout out is to every person who didn't believe in me. every person who bullied me, every person who belittled my visions, every person who spoke negativity into my life, every person who broke my heart, every person who like literally drove me through the dirt. I just, I applaud you. I want to thank them because if it wasn't for you guys, I definitely wouldn't be where I'm at today.
That's what's
So,
up. That's what's up, man.
Yeah, man. So it's good life.
It is. It is. Well, I'm glad to have you on, man. This entire conversation has been full of gems. I appreciate everything that you've said. I've learned a lot. I'm definitely on the way over here. I wanted to get McDonald's, and I felt convicted that if I got McDonald's and I sat down in front of you, I would feel like crap. And I'm glad I didn't.
No.
And every time I go through a McDonald's drive-thru, I'm gonna think of you.
That would have been good content. Yeah.
If I had a McDonald's,
that would have been good content. Yeah.
But thank you for coming on, man. Keep on chugging along, and I can't wait to see more of you.
My man.